Hi, welcome back to Drive Node Selector. I'm Jonathan,
And I'm Scott.
and today, this episode, we're talking about the ups, the downs, and the rounds of some of our car ownership.
Yes, sir.
So, and starting off with, if you've seen anything interesting out in the wild this week.
Yeah, it's I feel like I've seen quite a few interesting cars this week. One was like an old VW Bug.
Oh yeah,
Just nicely redone, you
Yeah.
know, light blue. So that was pretty cool. Don't see many of those really around anymore. Usually
it wasn't like rusty and bagged out, loud.
and with patina and all
Yeah,
that.
all the
You know that
patina.
look.
No, just like the clean look.
Yeah, it was a pretty clean look. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
What else did I see in the JDM world? Like little, I think it's a Suzuki Every van, little box
Yep.
van,
Oh, yeah.
K car kind of thing.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool. It was all like pimped out, had like teal paint job with like gold rims,
Oh my gosh.
lowered, you know, like true. I don't know, like classic JDM style,
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you know, typical
It's amazing.
JDM style. So that was kind of interesting. That was out in Ladner. And then what else? What else did I see? Oh, R35 ripped past me, Millennium Jade. That
Oh,
was
nice.
pretty nice, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like going 140 on the highway, so that was interesting. Just weaving through traffic.
Oh.
Classic R35.
I see. Yes.
Yeah.
You can take the kid out of the 350Z, but you can't take the 350Z out of the kid. Blasting trumpets.
Yeah.
So
And then-
cool car though.
Yeah, there was one more, but it's escaping me. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, what about you?
bad.
What'd you see?
Let's see.
Oh, I remember.
Oh yeah, go for it.
50s Corvette.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like the first gen.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
where it all
that's-
started.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely don't see many of those. You know,
No.
it's all like what 60s, 70s kind of.
Yeah,
mostly.
there's Corvettes they're pretty popular around here. We see a lot of like, I mean, you see C8s going around, C7s, 6, 5. Occasionally you see 4s. There's probably more 3s, but I want to say that I've seen at least. And then rarely you see the 2s, usually at cars and coffee kind of things, or like auto show, or obviously the Corvette, the annual Corvette meetup at the GM dealership in Langley, which I went to. Yeah, that's the only time I've seen a C1 was at that, like on the street. That's the only time it was at that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I saw some different vehicles from that, including it was like a full-size GMC van, like high roof and early 2000s, kind of like the cat eye sort of grill. And it was so it was like high roof box van, 4x4 conversion, so solid axles front and rear, lifted. It was gigantic. It was it was like definitely like one of the vans that you maybe keep an eye out for around elementary schools. It kind of looked like, but it was it was like quasi cool in terms of the 4x4 conversion. But yesterday I saw a Ferrari on like 152nd. As my wife and I were walking back from breakfast, and I was like, is that a 296? It was like a nice dark red, Spider, tops down, on like, it was kind of on like slightly tacky wheels. They weren't terrible, but they weren't elegant, like big gold. They were like maybe like 21s. So with, low profile rubber and whatnot, but it looked so much like a 296, but I couldn't quite figure it out. And like the snout was a little longer than you're expecting, and there's actually an SF90. I was like, I mean, I've seen pictures on the internet, and like, if I can't tell what it is, like, the design is probably too similar. Seeing as I was just in Maranello like a few months ago and whatnot, like, yeah, it was weird. It did not look. It didn't like when you see a picture of an SF90 online, I feel like the headlights and the strakes in the nose really stand out as like not looking Ferrari, but in person, it just kind of looks like a slightly disproportioned 296 in a weird way. So yeah, I did not get a picture of it, but it was weird seeing an SF90 rolling through North Surrey, you know.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one of those, but
like,
yeah.
That's MSRP is what, like 400,000 US or like 500,000 US or something. So
Wow.
they're not, yeah, they're really not cheap cars. So, but yeah, they were overproduced and apparently, and I think it's the only modern Ferrari in like that I've heard of like being discounted at dealerships and whatnot. So
Interesting.
there you go. It is what it is.
Yeah. Sometimes I kind of get your sentiment. Like, Ferraris can kind of look the same from like
They're a little,
you know,
like there's something nice about that in a way, you know, like if something's beautiful, you also appreciate it if like the replacement, you know, is beautiful. You know, hey, we made this beautiful car for 6 years. Here's the replacement. It's also beautiful in like a similar way. You're like, I'm okay with that. But I don't know. It's almost like, I have a funny story actually. So you know how they have like their 2+2 car. They started with the Ferrari California is their entry level 2+2, kind of competes with the 911, whatnot. California T, then they did the Portofino and Portofino M, then they had the Roma. And I actually guessed, I was telling my wife, I have a hunch that the next car is going to be called Amalfi. For the Amalfi Coast, very popular place, you know, and sure enough, it was called the Amalfi, and it looked like a derivative of the Roma, you know, and it's like, yeah, we'll see. Time will tell. I feel like if you give it 20 years and then you look back at a car, that's when all the dust has settled, and we know if it was like, if it really hit or not. It's still in the air, but I know the new design language is, I feel like F80 definitely looked better in person than in pictures. Like the running joke was, you know, you see a picture of an F80 and you're like, okay, that's cool that we have the Lego version. What does the real version look like? Right. But yeah, I don't know. Seeing it in person, it was like, this makes sense to me. This is okay. You know, very high performance modern Ferrari, and it looks like this. You're like, okay, I accept that. You know, new Testarossa is, I don't know, I kind of like it more than the 12 cylindry, but we'll see. We didn't come here to blab on about Ferraris.
That was the last episode.
Go back to episode 3 and 4 for that nonsense. So we're coming down to earth with our own cars. Mm-hmm. So our own cars. How's that been going, Scott?
It's been interesting to say the least.
Yes.
So
do tell.
Yes. So like we kind of touched on this in episode 2. So if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to it. You know, shameless plug.
Shameless plug for our own episodes. Our last episode was pretty solid.
Definitely.
Well. Yeah.
Best episode yet.
This is the best episode yet. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully this one's even better.
So in episode 2, we touched on the fact that my car had a fuel economy issue, right? And it's been plaguing me for like a few years at this point, right?
A while.
So like, to start off, I started noticing that fuel economy is like quite bad. I'm getting like 5 kilometers a liter. I'm like, something's wrong here. What's going on? I don't know, right? Mm-hmm. So like, the first thing that I do is like I switch spark plugs and I give it new coils. If you remember, we bought those like cheap Chinese coils off AliExpress.
Split fire? That's split fire?
No, they were just like a kind of like knockoff brand.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, just to see if like the thing like idle's okay or whatever, right? Just sanity checks. So we bought pretty cheap coils, right?
Yeah.
So then, that's nothing has really changed at this point. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm going to like Skylines Australia forum, typing in my problem. I'm getting responses like, hey, you got a vacuum leak. Hey, you got a vacuum leak. Sounds like a vacuum leak to me. And I'm like, cool. Okay, sure. Vacuum leak. Sounds pretty good. Mm-hmm. So like next thing I do, of course, is like start up the car, do the spray test, grab some like carb cleaner or whatever, fluid and just spray around all the hoses. It's totally fine. Nothing's wrong. It doesn't seem like it's pulling extra air into the engine, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. Next thing, let's buy a smoke machine. So I bought a smoke machine, right?
Oh, you bought one?
I bought one.
Because you made one for your exhaust. Like, this is years ago, right?
I made
you
one.
made something.
I made one, but then I ended up buying one after that.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I bought like, I bought a machine and I hooked it up. And like, this is where things starting to get kind of weird, right? Because it's like, okay, I hooked up the smoke machine. I did a smoke test. Didn't see any leaks, right? So I would assume no vacuum leaks. Of course, right? So I'm like, okay, I don't know. This is like out of my wheelhouse. Like at this point, I'm not really sure what to do. I'm gonna take it to like a JDM shop that knows what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
So I take it to the shop in Richmond. They're like, yeah, don't know, can't find anything wrong.
Really?
Like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think like, am I starting to hallucinate this? Do I even have a fuel economy issue? Like, I'm just, my brain's rattled at this point, right?
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, okay, I better go get a second opinion. So like, I take it to another shop in Burnaby, drive it all the way there, and they do some stuff like check if the brake is dragging and like really basic things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't really find anything. Nothing really seems wrong. I'm like, okay, cool. That's great. Nice. So then, I'm just like, I'm very confused at this point. I don't really know what to believe anymore. Yeah. Am I just fathoming all this or what?
Yeah.
So like, this is where like I start to go down rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
Okay. If it can't be a vacuum leak issue, I haven't found the vacuum leak, and 2 other shops don't seem to find anything wrong. Can't be a vacuum leak issue. So I'm like testing the IAC valve. I'm checking I'm opening up the ECU, looking for shorts on the ECU.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, man. I went to like nines on this.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I'm like checking other electricals and stuff. Like I really went just everywhere basically at this point. Like,
and you have, where's your where's your fuel filter?
My fuel filter is like right before it goes into the intake, basically. It's like very accessible in the engine.
Oh, okay. Bay. Yeah, right.
So that was another thing that I had swapped out.
Yeah.
I even like bought a fuel pressure tester. I'm like, am I getting enough fuel? Is fuel leaking somewhere on the line?
You tested your fuel pressure?
Yes, I did,
Do you still have that? That pressure tester? I could use it.
I don't know that I do.
Oh,
to
really?
be honest with you.
I'll get another one.
Yeah.
Go on.
It may be in some box. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You see my garage. It's messy. Yeah. So like, what was I saying with that? So I'm just like going down all the rabbit holes. Can't find anything wrong.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to like a third and final shop. Like this shop is like, oh, and by the way, those other shops are like JDM shops. They
Yeah.
are like, we specialize in JDM. So
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
would assume they have some knowledge about these kinds of things, right? But
Sure.
I guess not. So I take it to a third shop. And this one is like we only do Skylines shop, or we only do like high performance, you know, like 90s cars, whatever, right? Like nothing else.
Right.
So I take it there.
And where was that shop?
This is Maple Ridge.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I give them the car, whatever. They're after like a day of waiting, they're basically like, yeah, you got the wrong plugs. You're
yeah.
you're using iridium plugs. You should be using copper plugs. And
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
Really?
I mean,
yeah.
sure. Like, I guess I can't remember all the specifics of what he told me. Something about how RB's like copper plugs. I don't know.
If you're usually it's copper is more conductive, right, than the iridium, platinum, whatever plugs. If an ignition system will only have it's designed to it'll like an engine will have a spec plug that is designed to work with the amount of fuel it's expected to blow up or burn, I should say, and like the ignition system itself. So the ignition system, like, it only has a certain amount of power, right? And so I can understand like your engine, the stock ignition system is maybe designed around the more conductive copper plug, so you don't need to throw as much electrical power at it to create the spark. And so if you throw in an iridium plug, the iridium plug, it'll last a lot longer, but it's expecting to have more electrical energy, thrown at it. So I think on my car you can run iridium plugs, but you make a tiny bit more power if you run copper plugs, but the copper plugs don't last as long, and they actually, like, I don't know the exact time frame, but let's just say something like, they last half as long, and by the time you're halfway through that, they already make the same power as iridium plugs anyways. So if you're going to do a track day, you might throw copper plugs in for the track day and then just throw your iridiums back in and putter around happy. So, right. As an example. So, but you put copper plugs?
Put copper plugs in. Yeah. They supplied them for me, but it was kind of interesting because I had iridium plugs in there before and the car was fine. So that was kind of like,
it was never great on gas though, right?
It was pretty decent.
Yeah. Like how many kilometers would you get on a tank? When you first got the car?
When I first got the car, if I did all highway, it's a 65 liter tank.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that.
I think I did over 600K on a tank.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, you're at 10 liters per 100K, 23, 24 miles per gallon.
Yeah. So,
yeah, that's my Suzuki is a 45 liter tank, and before I modified it, it was in that ballpark. All highway would be slightly better than that, but I'm also a 6-speed. So
true, yeah.
And it's on my Suzuki, it's actually double overdrive. Fourth is 1-to-1, 5 and 6 are overdrive. So, but that didn't complete that. It's not like copper plugs were some miracle where it.
No, it improved a tiny bit, but nothing significant. Yeah. So then, I asked that shop about vacuum leak. I'm like, does the car have a vacuum leak? And they're like, nah, it doesn't have a vacuum leak.
Does it have? Yeah.
So I'm like,
does it have a
vacuum leak or does it not have a vacuum leak? Why can no one tell me this, right?
Yeah.
And we'll get back to that point.
Okay.
In a bit.
In a bit. Yeah.
Here.
Cool.
So okay, so what? It's been 3 shops now.
Yeah.
And no real significant improvement.
3
right?
specialty shops, by the way.
Specialty shops,
Yeah,
yes.
I
Not
mean,
like going to Midas.
No. Or it's not like, yeah, you didn't take your Skyline to Canadian Tire and be like, do I have a vacuum leak? So, yeah.
So yeah, this is like
I'm sure there's great techs at Canadian Tire.
definitely.
We're all doing our best.
So like this is the point where the depression hits in, and the like mind game of like, should I sell the car? Should I keep it? Should I sell the car? Should I keep it? What am I doing with my life? I'm spending hours of my life just dumped into this thing, right?
Yes.
And I'm like sad, mad, maybe crying a bit,
Male emotion warning.
And like, I'm dragging like my
Yes.
wife through this too, right? And
Yeah.
she's like, I don't want to hear about this stuff, and it's like, yeah, so it was a stressful time. So like
It is stressful.
at that point I had just, after a while of loathing or mourning, I should say,
Yeah.
like I had just come to accept that my life will be like 5 kilometers per liter, and it will never get any better than that.
Yeah.
And you'll just have to live life the way it is. And yeah, so that was 2 years ago, maybe more. I don't even know. It's
Yeah.
been a long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like
Yep.
3 months ago, car's having issues again.
Yes.
Right.
I'm aware of this.
Yes, you are. So, 3 months ago, the car's having problems, and it's basically like dying at idle, right? It'll be fine over 2K, like 2,000 RPM, and then anything lower than that, it'll just stall out and die, right? So I'm like, what is going on? And like, we kind of fiddled with it a little bit, right? We tried to like figure out what's wrong. Couldn't really, you were sort of suspicious. It's probably a vacuum leak. And in my mind, I'm like, how can it be a vacuum leak? I'd taken it to so many shops. How can it be a vacuum leak?
And the
right?
IAC, which we had adjusted before. I do remember there was one time where I turned the IAC, right?
Yes.
And we got it to like, because we would start, idle, die. And like, okay. So there's the IAC, but there's also like a manual idle. It's basically like an idle mixture adjust, but for EFI, weird crossover stuff. These like 2000s technology, right? Which we'll get back to later in the episode. But so I think I richened the mix, or no, I leaned.
You would have.
Did I lean? I leaned out the mixture because I let more air in. I think.
Yes. Because it always already dumping more fuel in.
Because you could smell the fuel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think this thing is like pretty choked for some reason. Which is also something we'll get back to, I guess. But it idled. Like, it followed, the instructions for like turning the black knob on the IAC valve on your car and got it to idle. And it was like drivable, but again, that didn't like ultimately fix the problem. It was like semi-drivable, but then it also died.
Yeah.
Like later on. Right? So it was, but that was still like an interesting piece of information, right? So, but yeah, go on.
Okay.
What happened next, Scott?
So then I got a tip from a helpful friend. Go to this shop.
Oh yeah.
It might be good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
But try it.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it to this shop thinking it'll be done one day.
Right.
Like, I got to bring it in to work a week early.
Yeah.
They got my time slot. Once it's my time slot, it'll be done in a day.
Yeah.
Okay? Cool. All right. I can wait a week. It'll be fine. I don't mind. I haven't been driving the car anyway, so
Yeah.
what does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
And
Is this shop in Langley?
yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Is this helpful friend sitting at the table?
Maybe. I'm not blaming you for
No,
it, by the way, at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So then I take it to the shop, and they're like, a week goes by. Another week goes by. Oh, yeah, we've diagnosed it. Great. We need to get parts from Japan. Okay, cool.
Overnight?
Yeah, I wish.
I mean, I hate to break it to you, but Hector's got 3 spoon engines.
Yeah. So
Please.
I'm like, cool, okay. Yeah, all right. Call up your guy in Japan, whoever that is, and let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Another week goes by. He's hard to contact. You know, I'm calling them every few days, being like, where's the parts quote, man?
Yeah.
Another week goes by. Another week goes by. It's been over a month, I think, at this point, right? I'm like, finally get the quote. It didn't have anything to do with vacuum leaks. It was like, yeah, we can't we diagnosed it, but really we can't because we think it's maybe these issues, but we're not sure. So we need to like fix these things first before we can actually figure out if that was a problem or not. Yep. I'm like, great. Here's your money. Give me my car.
Yeah.
Because we're not doing that, man.
No.
And the quote was insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like $5,000, right?
Yep.
And like, yeah, they quoted me for like new spark plugs, and yeah, they quoted me for new ignition coils. But sure, it's like, that stuff's not $5,000 to work. Come on, let's be serious here, right? You know, so I'm just like, yeah, okay.
I will never take my car to that shop again.
Nope.
For any reason.
They lost my business.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So, yeah, anyway, here's your money. Give me my car.
Yep.
So bring the car home. I just let it sit. I think I let it sit for like 2 months. Right?
Yeah.
So 3 months ago, this happened, whatever. I brought it into the shop and I just let it sit for like 2 months.
Yeah.
I'm not going to drive this car in a while. I may not drive it in summer. It may need to wait to next year before it gets like exercised again.
Maybe.
Right? Maybe not.
Yeah.
You know, and then I guess like, yeah, you and I were kind of like talking about things, you know, oh, what it could be or whatever. And you were just like, yeah, it's probably still a vacuum leak. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy. I luckily lost my old smoke machine.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a very important point.
Yes.
Which we'll get to.
I'm tracking.
So I lost my old machine. I bought a new one from Amazon.
Yep.
Disassemble the car, hook it up, instantly I can see where the leaks are. So it's got 2 leaks, one at like where the throttle body meets the intake.
Yeah.
And it's a big leak. It's not a baby leak.
No.
It's a big leak. I showed you photos or videos or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then there's another leak in one of the crankcase breather hoses.
Yeah.
Right? So cool, we got 2 leaks.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that so hard for like a shop to find? You know? Why?
Yeah.
Right? So I found the 2 leaks. I bought the parts. They're not overnight from Japan.
No.
They're 1 month from Japan, supposedly arriving tomorrow. So it's too bad we didn't actually film this next week, because then maybe
The suspense.
we'll have to wait for the next
We'll
episode.
have to wait for the next episode.
So that's where we're at now.
Yes.
We think it may be fixed.
Yeah.
I am cautiously optimistic about this. So
Yeah. I would also maybe want to check your PCV valve, because if it's stuck down, then you have your pistons fighting the pressure in the crankcase.
I bought a new one of those too.
Oh, you have PCV valve?
Yeah, because I'm like, let's just replace all of this.
Yeah.
You know?
I think my PCVs are okay, but I'm gonna do something very similar pretty soon, or like over the winter on my car. Absolutely. So yeah.
So yeah, that's where we're at. So I've gone through all the lows, like the lowest of lows.
Yes.
And like maybe I'm on an uptrend, which is
cautiously optimistic.
But going back to like some of the other things I just said. Okay,
Yeah.
so first thing, the thing about luckily lost the smoke machine.
Yeah.
I don't think that smoke machine worked.
Yeah.
I think it was bogus from the factory.
Oh, really?
And that's where I think all of it kind of, like, I started second guessing myself about all
Yeah.
this vacuum leak stuff,
Yeah.
right? I had a smoke machine. I hooked it up. I set it up properly, and it just, like, didn't work,
Yeah.
right? And I was inexperienced at the time. You know, I didn't know that it was not functioning, right? I'd never done a smoke test before, you know? Like, I
Yeah.
didn't really know what to look for, right? So,
Yeah.
like, that was the first thing. And then the second thing is shop number 3 that told me there was no vacuum leak. I don't think they did like a smoke test. I think they lied.
Yeah.
So,
You know what the crazy thing is? Also, there's one crazy thing I'll add in there.
okay.
The shop that we've referred to, I feel like they actually do a pretty good job of smoke testing.
Dies.
I mean, I'm not calling them like overly trustworthy, but they did find some issues with my car through smoke testing. So take that for I would not go there again though. I just wouldn't go there. I have found one guy who is very local, who I do trust. He is good. He also gets back to you, and you can talk to him through text messaging. Like,
That's great.
yeah, and and he's walking distance from my house. So, yeah.
So, like, what are my learnings through all this?
Yeah.
Number 1, do it yourself.
Do it.
I, at this point, have lost all faith in all shops everywhere. The only people that I have some faith in is that Canadian Tire can take my old tires off and put new tires on.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm so pessimistic about any shop, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes I think about it. Am I now a better mechanic than some of these shops? I don't know. Or did I just get lucky? I'm not sure.
No, like when you get forced, okay, take someone who's like reasonably intelligent. You're reasonably intelligent at a minimum. Okay? Boom. Force you into a situation where you have to figure out a problem, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you'll get there, right? And you'll remember, and no one is going to care about your car as much as you do. Like, you know that I care about your car, but no one cares about your car as much as you do, right? Yeah. And like, I'm learning a pile of things with the Mustang right now. Like, and I've had good and maybe not like not terrible, but like bad taste in your mouth kind of experiences with shops. And yeah, like part of the reason that I chose the Mustang was I know I can get parts. And they are cheap, and the car is simple, and it is so popular. Like, that engine was in everything, like taxis, F-150s, etc. And there's so much information out there. Like, so I have, for me, like, the Mustang, at least, like, definitely has all of that going for it. Boom. My Suzuki, at the time when I bought my Suzuki SX4, I had been through a string of bad cars that ruined me. Like, when I was 19, I went through 3 cars in the span of 6 months and had no money. I had no money after that. Like, I mean, I didn't have a lot of money before that either. But I just got I got financially destroyed as a 19-year-old, which is a good experience because I carry that with me as like, you know, I like over research on the front end, you know, when I go to buy a car or when I think about cars. I like heavily front load the research and be like, okay, but like what is going to break on this thing? And like, can I fix it? You know, like part of the reason that I got the Mustang was like, you know, I was like, this thing is not in the best shape, but you know what? I know these things are tough. I know they're simple. Even if the engine explodes on the way home, I can have a new one in for under $1,000 maybe.
Right.
You know, not new, because you can just grab a used engine from the junkyard. I can rent a U-Haul trailer, or I can rent an engine hoist. I can use my Suzuki. I can put the engine in my car, you know, in my hatchback. I would just put the engine inside on a pallet and like, or rent a U-Haul trailer for $30 and bring the engine in a hoist home, take a day off work, take the old engine out, put the new one in. You know, like I'm physically and mentally capable of pulling that off. I can figure it out, you know, and it would be a big pain in the butt, but it's possible. So, but like, yeah, choosing the Suzuki, I was like, what are the markers of a reliable car? You know, and I was looking at what makes Toyota and Honda reliable. Like, I want a car that's like not super heavy on features. I want something that's manufactured in Japan by Japanese people who take extreme pride in their work, you know. And I went for a new car because at the time I had a job, but I didn't have a lot of money, and I had 2 motorcycles, so I could sell the bikes and put the money into the car. And I did buy a new car at that time. You know, as a 21-year-old, I bought a brand new Suzuki SX4 that it was not the first year. It was not the first model year of that car, right? It'd been out for a while. It had had a fairly significant refresh where you have an updated engine, more power, better, and an updated gearbox with an extra gear. And it was not even the first year of that. It was the second year of that. So I'm like, you know what? This is going to be like a jump for me to do this, but I intuitively, I really believe this is like the right move for me right now, is to just get a car that I don't have to think about, that I don't have to worry about, like, you know, will it break down and this or that, you know, because the Nissan NX 1600 or the Eagle Talon fell apart on me. Like, yep. It was like, it just got to a point where it didn't run, you know, and that's because I was 18 and I was an idiot. And like kept putting bad gas in it, and I cut up the mass airflow sensor because I thought it would let more air through and make more power, but that just ruined the air fuel ratios, and I squeezed my blow off or my wastegate in a vise to like force more boost on the car. And then I also ran it on 87 octane gas because I couldn't afford 91. And it's like, so I was running it like super lean and then putting worse gas in the car. And so, yeah, I was like overheating it pretty consistently, and I wrecked the turbo, you know, and it was like smoking and leaking oil and like whatever. I got rid of it and got the Nissan NX 1600, which I crashed.
I love that little car, man. I wish it was still around.
It's a good car.
Yeah.
It was a good car. There's actually a red one in my neighborhood. There's a guy with a red one. Yeah. So, but that thing was a pile. That had a vacuum leak. Also, the guy had replaced all the vacuum lines with like garden hose because he had a custom plenum.
Okay.
and some other stuff. And like, I remember that thing didn't run perfectly all the time. It was still super cool. But yeah, I crashed it because it was on like bald summer tires and I was driving in the rain. So that's when I really learned tires matter. Got an 87 MR2. That thing was the only vehicle that has ever stranded me. Ever. Toyota. But that was a fuel filter. It was so clogged that the car wouldn't run.
Jeez.
At some point. Yeah. It wouldn't rev beyond 3,000 RPM. And then it just died. So
I did see one of those this week. First
yeah.
gen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Red. In red. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I had the black one. So.
Right.
They're still really cool cars. But yeah, that one thing was. It's also the sketchiest car I've ever driven in the rain. By like, it's not even close. You know, like any of the bikes I've had are like less sketchy in the rain than that was. But yeah, in terms of reliability, like, the alternator stopped working. I overheated it at some point on the highway. I just saw like the gauge pegged and I'm like, I don't know what's happening with this car. So it was rough. It wasn't taken care of and I didn't take care of it either. And it broke. So didn't run. I got rid of it for super cheap. And yeah, like my next car after that MR2 was the Suzuki SX4, which I've had now for 14 years. And it has always started and run fine. It has always started and run fine. Also, I have never parked it in a garage, basically. I mean, like I have maybe like once or a few times.
Sure, yeah.
But in 14 years, in like freeze thaw cycles, like the car has seen 40 Celsius. It's seen minus 15. I treat it like I'm mechanically sympathetic, but I also have expectations, right? I don't drive like a grandma. I've autocrossed the car. I'll drift it in the snow. I've taken it off road. Like I've taken it through mud and some pretty deep puddles. I've had issues with the car, but like, that's like, okay, what issues do I have with the car? Well, the paint quality is not amazing. Okay, so I have a lot of chips in the paint and the hood is pretty wrecked. Like,
right, yeah. I remember your hood is
bad.
Not looking so good.
Yeah, because I repainted it because I had so many rock chips, but I just used spray paint.
It's whatever.
And that I got mixed at Lordco. And I didn't wait for it to dry because I had an interview the next day that I only found out while I was painting the hood. Anyway, never fixed it. That was 10 years ago or like 8 years ago. Then it's at one point after taking the car through like lots of puddles and like deliberately driving through puddles really fast, like deep puddles, I noticed that it was making a funny sound. Okay. And that's just because the bearings in the alternator had went. And like the car was still charging though. Like I could just drive it around and you just hear zzz, like as you rev the engine, you hear the bearing whine super loud.
Yeah.
Then like I had that fixed. That was 10 years ago.
Just get a new alternator, right?
Got a new alternator, new either pulley, $700 at the shop, done. Yeah, like not great, not bad, whatever. And then because I've off-roaded the car a bunch and like had the car like pretty crossed up, getting over obstacles. It's crazy. Like I've hit the transmission and the crankcase against rocks so hard that I thought that I broke them. But I was just like, I remember specifically like I was coming down a service road and I nailed a rock so hard I immediately shut the engine off and got out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be stranded here. Nothing. Fine. Totally fine. And I was like, oh my gosh, I will never be that careless again with this car. like I was just expecting like broken aluminum and oil pile. No, fine. But yeah, what was I saying about doing all this like off-roading, it was definitely, the car was never intended to go that hard. And so eventually I'm starting to have like oil weeping from all the seals in my all-wheel drive system. So at this point though, so I bought my car in 2011, the Suzuki. So this is my reliable car. I mean, the Mustangs are also like generally quite reliable.
Yeah.
Mine has been neglected and it's close to being super reliable. So I'm just like building up the stuff that should have been taken care of a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely when you got your car, it's like, yeah, this car's seen some things.
It was bad. But not terrible. And I got a good deal. So I don't regret it. But so I bought the Suzuki in 2011. 2013 Suzuki US. They say we're pulling out. We're going bankrupt here. Like no more Suzuki in the US. 2014, no more Suzuki in Canada. Like I've had my car now. Oh, also 3 years ago, the forum went away. Club SX4 is like gone.
Dang.
So I am fully adrift. I'm like floating in space with my car, just being like, the engineers got it right the first time, but I'm on my own here. It is still possible to get parts. There's 2 Mitsubishi dealerships in the entire Lower Mainland that are authorized Suzuki parts dealers, so I can get parts through them. And I know that now after my saga of trying to find the part numbers for the seals, getting it wrong, taking it to a shop, giving them the wrong seals. They take the old seals out, and then they're like, oh, the new ones don't fit. I'm like, what? And so then my car was up on a lift, just sitting there with the transfer case exposed for a week. For a week until I got the new seals, took those in. That was not the greatest experience. I feel like obviously I got the wrong part, but you would just sort of expect the shop to check before they take the old seals out.
Yeah.
Sort of. Like a good shop would check. A great shop would check. Probably a good shop would check.
Because, like, you would expect that.
Oh, customer supplied part. You have to assume the guy's an idiot.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's like, okay, I need to sanity check that he actually did order the right thing.
And, like,
yeah.
I don't want to say I'm an idiot, but I definitely got that wrong. So I got the seal for, if this is the transfer case, I got the seal for the input side, not the output side. Just, you know.
Happens.
But it's so hard to find information about my car.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you know where to look, and I don't know where to look because I don't know anyone with these cars. So.
Well, it's kind of similar, like even with 34s, right? Well, all Skylines, like everybody's running a different build, right? Oh, I got this ECU. Oh. I got this intake. I got this thing. I got this thing. And it's like, where's the real information? Like, I don't know what to believe when you've like messed up your car in some crazy way that's like so far from factory spec that like, you know what I mean? So it's,
I only run 10 W50 oil, but I'm also running 30 pounds of boost, and I drag race my car. And I also do this with your timing. And how about no? None of that. No.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I feel you on that one for sure.
What oil do you have in your car?
5W30. I used to run 5W40 in it. But yeah, right now, because just winter and stuff, I'm running 530. I'll probably just continue running 530, I think. So I got another gallon of 530 in my garage, so that one's going in first before I mess with anything else. I
ask because I'm pretty sure the original oil is 7.5 W30.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure,
but
yeah,
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. But there was a There was actually an engineering explained YouTube video that I watched recently about oil, and the takeaway was you can go lower on the low side and you can go higher on the high side safely in terms of spec.
Okay. So I can run like a 0 W30?
I think so. I'm
or
pretty sure.
A 5 W50.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So unlike, my Mustang, the original spec and what's on the oil cap is 5W20. And my car came with a 5-quart dipstick. But that engine was originally designed for 6 quarts of 5W30. It was really just Ford being cheap at the time and saying, we want better emissions. Let's just do this and hope for the best. And they'll get through their warranty period. So, but right now, actually, in terms of my Sega, to figure out the noises that the car is making, again, it's not 100% verified, but I'm extremely confident that I have a timing chain rattle at startup.
In the Mustang.
In the Mustang.
In the Suzuki.
Correct. Not the Suzuki.
Yep.
Suzuki, also timing chain, which I was not going to buy a timing belt car, period. I checked before I bought the car that it was a chain car. Mustang, timing chain, but they only last 200,000 K-ish. So even with the timing chain, you still have to replace it. So yeah, anyway, I'm pretty sure it's the original timing chain. It rattled unbelievably at startup. It used to. I ran Seafoam, half a can of Seafoam, like when in doubt for a car, for me, half a can of Seafoam in the crankcase, half a can of Seafoam in the gas tank, fill it up with gas, burn through the tank, and then change the oil. Done. That's just like my, I don't know what this person did. I'm going to make sure that I know exactly what oil it's in there, and I'm going to control that. And I've done it on bikes as well, Seafoam in the tank a bit. I've done that on 3 bikes now it helps clean out gunk from fuel pump, helps clean out injectors, and I've noticed a difference. It definitely made a difference. On 2 of my bikes, it didn't make the complete difference. I still had to fix a jetting issue with the one bike, and then on the other bike, it was fuel injected. I had to take the injectors to be cleaned. So, but speaking of bikes, this has been my workaround for the cars. So after I went through my 3 cars, I could not afford a car. And what I could afford, though, so for $1,500 in 2009, I was not about to get any car that would be remotely reliable for any reason.
Yep, not for that money.
Not for that money. And if it was, for some reason, it would have been too boring, and I was still me and 19. So I didn't need it to be fast, just not boring. But for $1,500, I could get a killer bike, or at least something that I liked. So that was when cars, a lot of people get into bikes because they got into dirt bikes or whatever. Like, what initiated my journey into motorcycles was everything that you talked about. It's like, I can't afford any of this. I can't afford a car. I'm not going to finance it at like 19 or whatever. Even when I did that at 21, it's still a stretch. And I lucked out. We had zero, the cars were simple enough and reliable enough at the time in 2011.
Interest rates were low.
Yeah. I managed to get 0% financing. My dad co-signed. Suzuki was struggling, so they're offering good, finance rates.
Yeah.
But it was a reliable car, and I still have it. So that, but like the resale value on the Suzuki is like nothing. I mean, I've seen it bottom. I've seen it get as low as like my car has probably bottomed around $2,000 that it was worth. Like I paid 25, financed it at 0% for 6 years with 5 down. So I'm like $250 a month, which is like still hurt. When I was,
Yeah. I think like, because I was kind of looking like, oh, what if I got an SX4? Like, I can't remember. Like when I was looking for a car, right?
Yeah.
And they were like $2,000 about. Some of them were $2,000, like 300,000 Ks or something for like $2,000.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. Okay. That's fine.
I've seen
Cars aren't meant to appreciate.
No.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a whole other episode. Cars are not an asset class. Like, learn to invest. Just because people got lucky during COVID, this is not normal. This also, even if it is normal, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Non-speculation. You can get your money back out of the car. And now this is my experience with motorcycles. So my first bike, 1983 Honda Shadow VT500. I bought it for $1,450. I rode it for 3 years. I sold it for $1,440.
Amazing.
It was not perfect, but it always started, and I always got where I needed to go, with the one time that the clutch cable broke before I left. But then I replaced the clutch cable, and it was fine. So that bike had issues that I did not know how to fix at the time. I just knew how to ride around them. Yeah. Now I do know how to fix it. But like, yeah, so like all the bikes I've had after that have all been like, buy for like $2,000 or like, let's see. I think the most I ever lost on a bike was buying that blue SV650S. And that was a Suzuki, popular bike. It had 64,000 K. That car or that bike that's like the worst conditioned vehicle I've ever bought in my life, basically.
Is that the one that had like the coolant schmoo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the coolant had floaters in it, and the brake fluid looked like coffee. It was terrible. It was low on oil. It was so beat up. Everything was scratched. Everything. Like you take parts off of it, you're like, how is that scratched? It's just like, it's so bad. But you know what? It always ran. It made a good sound. It looked good from 20 feet away. It got stolen twice while I owned it. I got it back both times.
Right. I remember that.
The first time it was crashed through a fence at speed. That was cathartic because I knew the guy got hurt. And
yeah, I'm like, what happened to the guy who crashed into the fence?
F that guy. Yeah. Part of the reason he crashed was because I left it on 10-year-old tires, and it was lightly raining probably at the time.
Yeah.
Then the second time it got stolen, I didn't get it back for 2 months. For 2 months, it was gone for 2 months. Got it back with 4,500 extra kilometers on it. And the second time I just didn't replace the ignition. I left it with no ignition, no key. I just knew there was one connector that if I disconnected, no one would be able to start it. And so I would disconnect it and just leave it parked. Like, I was on the verge of not using the kickstand for that bike. Like, at the end, it was so ratty. I felt like just getting off the bike, like just stalling it and dropping it and walking away, then picking it up, firing it up, and just pounding on it again. And yeah, it was good for that. It was good for that.
That reminds me, like, I feel like my woes have really just scratched the surface of my car problems, because like, I don't know if you remember, but my car was broken into.
Oh yeah, that's
with
right.
the intention of it being stolen.
Yeah. Yes, I remember that.
But for some reason, they gave up.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I don't know if it was because manual. I don't know if it was on the right side. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Steering wheel was off, but it was not a quick release.
It was not a quick release. And it's strange. But thankfully, they never stole it. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
But
hang on to
anyway,
that car, man.
I know. Now it lives in the garage forever.
Yeah.
No one will touch it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that. So I also have something that'll live in the garage forever that no one will touch it. I actually haven't told you about this yet.
What? You bought another one.
I bought another bike.
Lies, man. You tell me lies. I'm not going to buy a bike for a while. Nah, just go a few years. Maybe I'll buy a bike. Buys a bike instantly. It's like so you, though. It's so you. So I don't know. Maybe nothing should surprise me anymore. Yeah.
It is. Oh man, it's an interesting story because I have outside. We just rode on it a different bike, a 2010 Kawasaki Vulcan Nomad 1700. So what that is the base Vulcan. So actually, the Vulcan is a very interesting motorcycle, and this says a lot about bikes. The Vulcan is a cruiser. You're like, okay, I know what that is. Looks kind of like a Harley. The Vulcan is available in engine sizes that start at 125 cc, and they go all the way up to 2000 cc.
Crazy.
It's like, I think it's the biggest V-twin on a mass manufactured bike is the Vulcan 2000. This is one step below that. Vulcan 1700. So I like cruisers. I mean, I've had all sorts of bikes. I like cruisers for specific reasons. Japanese cruisers are so cheap. They are so cheap to buy. They are so reliable. They look good, and people don't steal them because they're not worth a lot. Like my Suzuki SV650 sport bike was not worth a lot. People still stole it twice. Why? This thing has 84,000 kilometers on it. Like there's kind of like a conversion. It's kind of like dog years, for like motorcycles and cars. So it's about 3-to-1, where a car with 300,000 K, people are like, wow, that's high miles. That's kind of like, it feels like that in bikes at 100,000 K. So a bike with 100,000 K is like a car with 300,000
Yeah,
K.
I was just going to ask you. I'm like, 84,000 is pretty high for a bike.
That's a lot for a bike.
Yeah.
Anything 60 and up on a bike, people just go, ooh, that's a lot. People sometimes even go like, oh, 40,000 K, that's getting up there, right?
Well, it's very interesting because it's like, I guess it's considered high mileage, but it's like, who's to say it's not going to go another 100,000, 200,000, like 500,000. So, right? Who cares that it's only gone 40,000?
Exactly.
If it's the right motor, it's the right motor.
Exactly. So that bike out there, there are a few examples. There are many examples of that bike going 300,000 K. There are also examples of that bike going 500,000 K.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's a lot for a car. So that's
sure.
but again, like 3-to-1, that's sort of like 1.5. It feels like 1.5 million or, on a car.
Yeah.
So that was part of the reason I got this bike was I wanted a more advanced bike. I was like, okay, I want a lot of these same things: reliability, durability, fairly low entry price, and it maintains its value. But what's the next step up? So, and something that I can take a passenger on very comfortably and a lot of stuff. So cruiser, right? And something that's easy to live with. So my bike has hydraulic lash adjusters. I don't need to adjust the valves ever. And it's a belt drive. Belt drive is super low maintenance. No grease, no nothing. You basically don't need to adjust it ever because they don't stretch like chains do. And so, which like I don't mind lubing the chain. I just don't like cleaning the chain. And so usually with bikes, I don't clean the chain. I just grease over top and send it. And I've done this on so many bikes and it's just not been an issue. Even though people will tell you otherwise. But like I ride on the street, you know, I'm not riding off road, but I'm also not riding track.
Yeah.
So there's a certain, you know, I want the bike to not be a toy. I want it to be like more like a car. And so I've done very well with across like 5 different bikes or whatever. And the thing is that the Nomad, yes, it's reliable. Yes, it was like, you know, not super expensive to buy and it holds its value. I can drive it to the moon and back, but the insurance is so expensive in BC for motorcycles with 1150cc and up, and it's the most expensive vehicle I've ever insured, and I'm just like,
really?
Yeah.
Wow. So even more expensive than cars.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
So I'm trying to remember. I think so with a 43% discount, I would be looking at like around $2,800 or maybe even $3,000 for a year.
Wow.
So my Suzuki SX4, I'm insuring right now $1,400 a year. Mustang, $1,700, but that's because I have to and from work on it.
Right.
So I was like, I'm done. Like, I do want to have more than one car, more than one mode of transportation, like to myself. I want to have a car and a bike. You know, I guess I have two cars and 2 bikes right now. But one of them's for sale. I can't get rid of the SX4 because there's no resale value and it's too reliable, you know, to justify getting rid of. And it's not that bad to just pay $1,400 to let it sit on the street. And I drive it occasionally.
Yeah.
You know, a couple times a month I'll drive it. That's good enough. That's all I need for like the foreseeable future. And then the Mustang is the daily, and that works. But I was like, the gas mileage and the range on the Vulcan are like pretty bad for a bike. And they're actually like, it gets worse fuel economy than my wife's car. And it puts off so much heat. And like, I'm doing stop and go traffic in the summer. I rode it every day. Like I rode it all summer long last summer before we had AC at work, and we don't have AC at home. And I just remember like every day I would get home and just sit on the couch in a daze for half an hour and just being like, why am I doing this? Why am I roasting my butt off with this stupid bike? And
so it was a bit of buyer's remorse for you, I guess, right? Like, would you call it that?
No, well, I don't want to call it buyer's remorse because it was really good for the specific time that my wife and I used it to go camping. So we loaded our stuff up on the bike and took a ferry. Motorcycles and ferries go so well together because in BC, you have a free pass to the front of the line, a 50% discount. You are priority boarding on and off.
You get to leave first.
Yeah. And 2 times now, I have gotten on the ferry after they finished loading, after they closed walk-ons.
Wow.
So like my bike, let's see. I think including when I bought this bike from the island, but like I got on the ferry and I was just like standing there. Like they don't let people be down there for like closing the gate and stuff. I was just like standing there as they like pulled away and closed the doors. Like it was just me and the workers. I got on that ferry, you know. And the other time was when I was visiting our friend on the island. And this was on my Honda Shadow that I did a road trip with when I was 19 or 20. Visited our friend in Victoria after visiting other friends in the US. And I go to, like, I leave Victoria, go to catch the ferry to go back, realize I had his credit card in my pocket. So I burn back to Victoria and then burn back to the ferry, and I get on the same ferry. Because I showed up at I showed up with an hour before they leave. Like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
then
of course.
But then I blasted back, or like 45 minutes before they leave. But then, blast back to Victoria, blast back to the ferry, and then I get on just right before they leave. They let me on. So
why you have his credit card in your pocket is another story for another podcast.
Yeah, probably because he didn't have pockets and he was, whatever. So
nice.
But yeah, no. So the thing is, I haven't said where the new bike is yet.
Do you want to leave it on a hanger, or do you want?
No.
Okay,
We'll let the audience know. So,
okay.
I bought a 2001 GSXR 1000.
Gosh, man, you were talking about that to me.
Yeah.
Like, I think when we went to Mission Raceway last month, you're like, it'd be cool to have like a Gixxer or like a Ninja or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So you did it.
The King.
Yeah.
The original, the OG. Man, when that thing came out, it was lights out. It was so good. And it's still really good. But it's so this bike has been, I bought it off of a Italian helicopter pilot.
Yeah.
And it was stored at a shop that builds race cars. And it was an epic buying experience.
Wow.
Epic. Super helpful. Negotiated to have new tires put on Michelin's. Like, is good. It's the perfect kind of bike for me, because it's like, I want a more advanced bike that I'm not going to get bored with. I want something very reliable, very tough, very well understood, and I was actually asking ChatGPT about to recommend me a bike, just like giving it abstract terms like reliability and like a certain 1000cc and this and that, and then that was his top pick. Was the GSXR 1000, and it said, after it gleaned the internet for information, that those engines are not bulletproof but rocket proof. And I'm like, you got me. That works for me, and it's an 01, so this is the first year of the GSXR 1000. It replaced the GSXR 1100, which was carbed.
Okay.
There's a lot of cool stuff about it. It's like the same cylinder head as the 750. They just stroked it. And they overboard by like a millimeter. It's the same frame as the GSXR 750, but they just thickened the casting. And I was like, I just love these like really intelligent manufacturing details to help keep costs down, and like give more engine options and stuff. And yeah, it's really fast.
So I've heard.
Yeah. It's the only bike I've ever owned that I would never let anyone ride it.
Makes sense.
And I wouldn't teach anyone. Like, I could probably, the Vulcan is like, that thing is a beast. It weighs 850 pounds, I think, before you put gas in it. And it's super heavy. Like, it's hard to maneuver. I could probably teach someone to ride on it,
Right.
But yeah, the GSXR is like, I figure like it's such a perfect time to get an 01, because next year I can put collector plates on it and I have super cheap insurance. It should be only like $300 for the year, and I can ride it as much as I want. I just can't ride it to work or school. I'm not at school. So that works for me. And the Mustang is a better cruiser than the Cruiser.
The Nomad.
Than the Nomad, yeah. Like the Nomad is still like a really good bike, and honestly, like down the line, I would absolutely jump onto like a 1700 Kawasaki again with like, if I could put collector plates on it and have cheap insurance. But I just psychologically, I can't insure a bike for that much money. You know,
Yeah.
it's not worth it. It's not worth it to me, especially when the bike is slow and like whatever. You know, it's just, I don't know. So I do intend to keep my vehicles that I have. I intend to keep the Mustang for a little while at least. I really, really want to keep this bike, you know, for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, because there's nothing like, there's bikes that are faster. There's a lot of bikes that are faster. But this bike, it has a certain level of specialness. You know, it's iconic. If you go to Wikipedia and you type in GSXR 1000, the picture you see is my bike. It's like the black, gray, and yellow, or the black and gray with the yellow accents. You know, the GSXR 750 is iconic, but the 1000 was like, oh, king, you know. And then, or like, then there's like the Hayabusa, which that thing is an additional, you know, level of crazy. But it's like the Hayabusa, it's also like, it's not just that it's so fast. It's a big bike. And I kind of wanted something smaller, you know, that I can just tuck away into the garage. And the 1000 is not like, it's not tiny, but it's fine. It's fine. So
Provides enough power. Yeah. More than enough.
above 3,000 RPM, you have any amount of power that you think you need, you have it in any gear if you're above 3,000 RPM. So
Cool.
it's good.
I'd like to hear more about the buying experience, but maybe in the next episode we can break that down a bit.
Yeah, we could break that down a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's what do you think? You thinking of getting a bike?
Maybe, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure if my wife will let me. I feel like she'll say no. But
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I was just gonna say it's, you know, because you took me on your cruiser recently, right? And it's like, it's very different because, like, you know, the last bike that I rode, or the last bike that you owned that I rode on, would have been the Versys.
Or actually, no, you also rode on the blue bike, the SV650.
Okay.
Yeah.
And those things were like different. You know, it's not as comfortable.
No,
It's very like,
I remember specifically, you felt nervous on the SV650.
but
That's a small bike.
the Nomad is just like, man, I could just sit here all day and just, I don't know. It's very like, also, I don't know if the word would be like serene, but just like being able to kind of like be more with the environment is actually kind of interesting, right? Like when you're sitting in a car, you're in a box. Yeah, you can roll the windows down, but it's not really the same thing, you know. Like on a bike, you're there, you can look around. I don't know. I just felt like very disconnected in a good way, like.
Or you mean on the bike? Or
on the bike. Yeah.
Or like you're disconnected from.
I don't know, just like distractions of life, I guess, or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I see. You were out of your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're out of your head and just, you could enjoy. It's a nice day out right now. We just went on this ride before we recorded. We did like a little bit, you know, down by the beach and then up on the highway, and just a nice rumble puttering on the highway, like good windshield protection. You still have a bit of wind. It's like, it's just nice. It's so comfortable.
Yeah. Super comfortable. So I'm like, I see the attraction to it, you know. I think before, sitting on some of those other bikes, like I didn't really get it. You know, I'm just like, nah, this ain't for me. You know, but yeah, going on a cruiser, I'm like, yeah, okay, I can understand this. And that would probably be like, if I was to hypothetically get a bike in the future, I would be leaning more towards that than like, crotch rocket kind of deal.
Yeah.
So like, no, it's cool. I have like a new sort of appreciation for it. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I think I would like to do a pod where we do like maybe half the pod could be some kind of like car to motorcycle translation dictionary thing. But like a bike has more constraints in some ways, right? Like you cannot reasonably expect to pilot like an 8,000 pound bike, but cars don't really have weight limits in that same way. There's cars that weigh 1,800 pounds that are minuscule. There's cars that weigh 9,000 pounds, and so on like a spec sheet, or there's cars I drove a car this year that had like 60 horsepower, 69 horsepower. That's the same power that the Nomad has. Like, and then I'm calling the Nomad kind of slow. How slow was the Fiat Panda, and then like we've been in a car that has like nearly 600 horsepower. That feels really fast, right?
Yeah.
But like, the GSX-R 1000 that I got has 160 horsepower. It's faster than the GTR. It's not just faster, it feels faster. Like you are connected, right?
Yeah.
But you also have, there's something about controlling the acceleration with your hand instead of your foot. You just like, you have such fine control over like, I'm at like 33.5% throttle right now. And that's all I need right now. And I'm not getting more than I'm asking for, like having very fine throttle control, also controlling the clutch with your hand. Like there's something, I so wish that there was some equivalent in car land of doing low speed maneuvers on a bike. Like there's something to be said. I feel like the most underrated skill in driving across everything is being able to do like really slow speed maneuvers on a motorcycle. If you can do that, like what you're doing in a vehicle. You have so much control over the vehicle. If you can like ride extremely slow and keep the bike upright. If you can do like low speed turns, if you can like make, even if, especially with like a passenger also, if you can like pull away from a stop to a 90 degree and then respond to something unexpected with a passenger on a road that's not smooth, like that takes more serious skill than any canyon driving. I'll stand by that. Like any canyon driving, like you're apexing your Cayman GT4 RS, whatever, with like utmost precision and like nailing your braking points. I don't care. You try and take a passenger on a 900 pound cruiser and like try and negotiate out of a parking space and make a tight turn and like have a car not see you right away and you respond to it, and have nothing go wrong at your end, toot your horn at them. Also, you pull all that off, you're a good rider. Nice. You've got something on that Cayman guy.
Next level.
And it's legal to practice low speed riding. So you can get together in a parking lot. You can have a parking lot takeover with 20 bikes and you're all practicing low speed skills. And you know what you're doing? You're making everyone safer and no one gets ticketed. Everyone loves it. It's like win. So yeah, that's my brainwave for the podcast is like, man, I wish there was low speed skills, like low speed brake and clutch control stuff, equivalent for cars that people could do. And even in like you see like the police motor, like Harley demonstrations where they're going through the cones and stuff. Like, they're not doing it on a Harley because it's easier on a Harley. it's easier on like a small bike, right? It's amazing to see people like I've dragged foot pegs at 5 kilometers an hour on a big cruiser. When I'm practicing some of that stuff, I'm like, you know, if I haven't ridden for a while, I'll like go out to a parking lot, I'll do low speed stuff, and then I'll practice like a 75% launch, 75% maximum launch, first gear, second gear, and then a panic brake, and I've locked up the front wheel on the 1700, and I locked up the front wheel, and like I like let go or like eased off and caught it and then hauled it back down. Like I'd way rather, and I didn't go down, and I'd way rather experience that in a safe environment in a parking lot than like, you build in the tactile feel and the that skill level in these parking lots and safe environments, and then you carry that with you onto the street. So it's like, it is nice to like, to be out of your head on a bike, and even like the slowest cruiser is going to have like a nice, compared to a car, you have manual steering, you have direct 1-to-1 steering, you have manual brakes, you have independent front and rear brakes, like you have a very fine control of the clutch. Like, there's almost like some of these things that people are like, oh, the manuals are dying. Oh, like driver feel is like going away. It's like, well, it's only on these $600,000 cars that you might have a chance of getting this experience. It's like, yeah, but for like $5,000, you can get a killer bike.
Yeah. There's like, this whole category of things called bikes where you could get back to that
other category.
Yeah.
And it's not as dangerous as, as people would have it seem.
Yeah.
So, but these are all other podcasts.
Yeah.
So I think we did it.
Yeah. No, that's some really great insight. I think there's lots to unpack there.
Yeah.
Going forward. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, no, I think this has been a really good episode, and I think I hope you enjoyed it. I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was great. It was amazing. So thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Catch you in the next one.
All right.